Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel Cloud Soldier. So in this video we'll have a quick overview on containers and Kubernetes. This is like kind of an overview based on the exam Az-900, which is Azure Fundamentals. Let's talk about containers. If you guys remember, or if you have been in IT for a while, say for example, we have got on premises. On premises mean like our computers or servers are in a data center or in an office. So we used to deploy, say for example, an app on this server. And that was quite a tedious process. So for example, like you have to buy the physical server, install the operating system, patches, networking, etc. So it used to take ages, like 2 to 3 weeks, and it was quite tedious. Then the technology moved to virtualization, and if you heard of that thing called, we started using hypervisor. So we used to virtualize our virtual machines. Say, for example, if you have got a rack here, so I'm just talking about this like a hybrid um, virtualization. So you got physical computers here, and you used to install machines, virtual machines in one server. The reason is that, like in past, when you have an app in one server, we were not utilizing it full force, like the older capacity of the server. Then we came into VM virtualization, so we can have multiple VMs in a one server, and they're all isolated. Then the journey moved forwards to cloud technologies such as Azure. The main three big ones are Azure, AWS, and Google. Right, let me open a new. Right, so so in cloud, um, so in cloud VMs, like say for example in Azure, if we say, like we have got, say for example, there are two developers. A developer means like the guy who writes the code is working on this machine. So this is his laptop, and he is working on two applications. And this is the OS, this is the hardware, and this is the operating system. And he's working on two applications, say app one, app two, and they are like different. So one is Java and one is .NET. So all these programming language has got different dependencies, and so this developer working on this application one, he installed a new feature. All is working fine. Then he worked in .NET. He downloaded also all his dependencies, such as OS dependencies. So he downloaded, is all working fine. So that's okay. So locally, all working fine. But when it goes to production, the server over there um, do not have these dependencies. So you have to download these for this application and all that. So sometimes it does not work and it causes issues. So just because of that, um, there's a new, quite about 6, 7, 8 years old technology came out called containers. So containers are like a package of application and all its dependencies. And it's very, very lightweight. And the architecture for that, say for example, you have got this uh, hardware, and then you have got this operating system. Then you install this software called Docker. So it's like a Docker engine. So, and then we create our Docker image. Say, for example, we're creating an image for Linux Linux web server, nginx. So we installed on this one. Uh, yes, so I was just saying that you create a Docker image. To do this, you need to create a Docker file, and like I said, you have got a Docker engine. So by running, so you'll have like a command line, and you run commands to make this image as a, so I'm sorry, make this file as a image, and then you run a command to make this image as a container. So in this, so the image we create, it will have all its dependencies. Say for example, we're creating this image for Linux. So in this file, we will in this image file we'll have all its dependencies. It will download automatically from hub docker.com, and we can tweak this in any way what we require want to do. It's a very long big topic on Docker and Kubernetes. So for this exam purpose, I'm just explaining it's just like an overview of a container. So these containers are very lightweight. So that means they are very portable, and you in the Right. So what we have done here now, we will be creating this Azure. Sorry, let me start again. So what we'll doing, we will be creating this Kubernetes service, which is a cluster, and which this will, as I told you, that Kubernetes is an orchestration tool. It manages the container, networking, storage, security, and it's got like what we do. As I explained before, for the purpose of Az-900 exam, I'm not going into nitty-gritty of this course. I'm just explaining what is required for the exam, just giving you an overview of Kubernetes and containers. So what we'll do, like I said before, we will create a container with one node, and we'll create two YAML files, one for deployment. This will deploy the image and create into container of nginx, which is a Linux web server, and the services, which is for to deploy, which will expose this pod into onto the internet, and you should be able to see this nginx on this Kubernetes cluster. So if we go to all services, then look for create Kubernetes services, click create Kubernetes cluster, create our new resource group, get our new resource group, just we call it a name, just click next. In this agent pool, we will define only one node that we need, and not more than that. And this size should be fine. So just click next, update, sorry, next, next. Right. So our Kubernetes cluster is created. If we just go to resource and we can see all the properties. It's created in this RG is running location UK South, networking is there, the latest version of Kubernetes is there, all the networking bits and pieces, integration, configuration, node pools. We got only one node pool. This is a node size we have done. So what we'll do, we will like create, excuse me, if I show you something, settings, in settings, or if we go to Kubernetes resources, yes. So you can see these pods are already created, and these are the workloads. Also, these are the pods and services. Services ingress like the traffic coming into this pod and should be able to communicate like we did before. I've already exposed to port 80. So what we'll do, we just go to workload and create a apply YAML file. Remember, we just talked about it. So I've got this YAML file somewhere here. So if I just copy the code and apply, so we can see this is a YAML file format with the two spaces and dictionaries and subproperties. So the container we're downloading is nginx, as you can say, and this is the image. So we have downloaded this um, from the Docker Hub. So if I add this, right, so this is the one just deployed. While this is happening, I also install the services pod. So create YAML, apply YAML, go back to code, which is this one, copy that and go to right. So what I'll do, I'll also copy this code in the YouTube description and you can copy from there. Only you should do just copy and paste because that code which I will copy will not be in the YAML format. So if you just copy that and paste in ChatGPT and say please create a YAML file for it, it will do it for you. If you click add, right, this is just pending. So if I go back to our workloads, yep, this is created, all fine, green tick. So like I said before, for this exam, Az-900, we are not going through this course. I'm just giving an overview of Kubernetes services, creating container and managing them. So if I go back to our services ingresses, if I refresh it, yes, it's working. Click OK. So if you remember that we used to install nginx and then copy the URL before we have to create a virtual machine or web app and install there and all that. So now it's so quick. You see, we have downloaded the image and created a container using a YAML file or Docker file. So in that, so if you just click that, it should give you an nginx page. Continue because this is not secure. So we only exposed port 80. So click that. Yes, you can see that nginx is working fine. I hope this is quite informative for you guys. Please practice that. So in this lesson, what we have learned about what is container and what is Kubernetes. In container, we have used Azure Container Instance Service, which can create a container on a fly and test it. And same thing, we used created a cluster for Kubernetes. And the Kubernetes cluster, we created a one node and downloaded a nginx image and created a container and tested that way. Thank you very much. I'll see you in next video. Bye for now.